In this demonstration, I'm going to give you an overview of the incident section of the database. The incident section of the database allows you to enter incident reports. Enter a new report by selecting New Record. Firstly, you should note that all information entered to the report is automatically saved as you go. So if you have to shut down the program halfway through entering the report, you can easily finish it off at a later time. Let's look at a report I've entered earlier. Note that the mandatory fields are highlighted in red and marked with an asterisk. These fields represent the minimum information that is required to present an accurate picture of an incident. Without this information, the information contained within the national dataset may present a biased view of the incidents that are occurring during outdoor activities. However, although the mandatory fields are highlighted in red, we encourage you to provide as much detail as possible about the incident. There are also a few help functions you should know about. Firstly, rolling over some of the fields will bring up a definition to explain what is meant by the field. Items that are underlined indicate that more information is available. For example, clicking on Actual Severity Rating brings up a definition of the actual severity scale. The incident section of the database is divided into 5 sections. Section 1, Incident Characteristics. Section 2, Adverse Outcomes. Section 3, the Incident Description. Section 4, Causal Factors and Relationships. And Section 5, for Notes. You can move between sections of the database by moving between these tabs, or if you scroll to the bottom of each section, selecting Next Section. Section 1 collects data on the contextual factors surrounding the incident. You can easily locate the records of staff responsible for the supervision at the time of the incident by clicking on this link. You can then use the Find function by entering their first name or last name to locate their record. Once you've found it, copy and paste their staff ID, close that window, and paste it into this box. If you can't find the activity associated with the incident in this drop-down list, then you can easily add a new activity. Click on the link, enter the new activity into the field, and click the plus sign. You'll be prompted as to whether you want to add the following activity. Click OK. Note that you should be careful about what activities you enter into the database, because once you enter them, you can't edit them or delete them. Close this window, and you should now be able to locate the new activity in this list. In this section, you're also asked to indicate whether the incident was an adverse outcome or a near miss. An adverse outcome is defined as any event resulting in negative impact, including missing or overdue people, equipment or environmental damage, injury, illness, fatality, or social or psychological impacts. A near miss is defined as a serious error or mishap that has the potential to cause an adverse event but fails to do so because of chance or because it's intercepted. For example, during a rock climbing activity, an instructor notices that a participant's carabiner wasn't locked. If the student had fallen, this may have led to a serious injury. Based on your responses to this question, the software tool will skip you through the sections of the database that aren't relevant for you. For example, if you select near miss, then you'll notice that outcomes is blanked out. And when you select Next Section, it'll skip you through to the incident description. However, if you select Adverse Outcome, then outcomes will be highlighted and you'll move through to Section 2 on Adverse Outcomes. This section of the database allows you to record details about adverse outcomes associated with the incident. The first section describes impacts on people, such as illnesses, injuries, fatalities, and social or psychological impacts. If more than one person was impacted by the incident, you can add them down here. You can easily locate staff and client records by clicking on Staff ID or Client ID, and this will bring up the Find box, and you can enter their first name or their last name. Click Enter, copy their staff ID, close that window, and paste it into that box. You can also record details about overdue or missing people, equipment loss or damage, or environmental damage in this section. Note that you only need to fill in the section that applies to your incident. Leave the fields blank if they do not apply to your incident. For example, when recording an injury, you only need to fill in the experience in the activity associated with the incident, the injury type, injury location. If the participant wasn't evacuated, leave this blank, otherwise fill in this section. Whether hospitalisation was required and whether emergency services were recalled. You may leave all other sections that do not apply to your incident blank. Section 3 of the database allows you to record details about the incident itself. You're asked to describe the incident in detail and any events leading up to the incident that might have influenced the outcome. If the event was a near miss, you're also asked to comment on why it was a near miss. Section 4 of the database allows you to record information about the causes of the incident. The person reporting the incident is asked to comment on why the incident occurred and also to identify any significant interactions that need to be taken into account. A field is also provided so that managers or supervisors can comment on the causes of the event. Finally, the database also allows you to categorize the factors that are identified in your reports. You can categorize both the factors that are identified, and scrolling down, you can also categorize the relationships between the factors that you identify. This section is very important as it allows you to generate automatic reports on the causal factors identified in your data. If you click here, you can read an overview of the coding taxonomy. However, a complete demonstration of how to use the coding taxonomy is provided in a later demonstration. In section 5 of the database, you can write your own notes about the incident. This field is provided for your use only, and the data is not included in the information sent to USC for analysis. In this section, you can also check your data entry by pressing this button. This button gives you feedback about whether all of the mandatory fields are complete for that particular incident. That completes our overview of the incident section of the database. The important points are: select New Record to log a new report. The information is automatically saved as it's entered. You should complete all relevant mandatory fields which are highlighted in red and starred with an asterisk, and the underlined fields indicate when more information is available.